Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome back from a beautiful weekend. Some places it was rain, some places it was beautiful, but wherever you were, or whatever the circumstance was as far as the weather, welcome back to a new week of getting productive and doing what we need to do to be able to get our organizations up and running the way we want. And welcome back to another week of my nonprofit content that I provide each and every Monday here for aspiring founders and existing founders. So for those who tune in all the time, good to see you again. And for those that are new to my page, this is the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. And I think you'll find benefit to my page. So for those that are actually new, my name is Asia Nasir, and I am the founder of my consulting firm, Utopian Enterprise Business Solutions, and author of my book, Nonprofit Doesn't Mean No Profit, where you can find on Amazon. And my mission at Utopian Enterprise Business Solutions is to help, individuals such as yourself, whether you're aspiring, just newly founded your nonprofit organization, or you're an existing and kind of like at a crossroad. My mission is to help you to be able to fulfill your mission for your nonprofit organizations in real time. So my weekly lives to help you to be able to do that, be able to have you, give you some food for thought, things that you need to maybe tweak. Sometimes it's just those little things that you need to do in order to keep your organization going and to keep the momentum and to keep you sustainable, which is the most important part. So today I want to share something. This is gearing towards, when you're finding that you're, especially for aspiring founders or newly founded nonprofit organizations, that, the grants are not coming in. And typically they don't. In those first couple of years, it's very difficult to get the larger grants. You can get more of the community grants, the smaller grants, but those smaller grants are not sustainable for your organization. It helps to be able to keep certain things sustainable, like getting supplies and, paying for workshops and things like that. However, it doesn't sustain you as far as payroll, expansion, putting on curriculums, events, and things like that. I do understand that it's a little more difficult for you to be able to do that. And so you're like, well, the grants are not coming in the way I want. And even for existing, nonprofits, sometimes there's a slump where you're like, what's going on with the grants? Or, certain places are no longer giving money as much as they did before. So now they're giving you less. So you're having to work harder to get the same amount of money that you used to get before. So I do understand the changes and the ebbs and flows that happen in the nonprofit world for organizations. However, what I want to share with you today is effective fundraising strategies to help you to be able to, in those moments where you don't have it, that you can keep sustaining yourself and not find yourself in a slump and not being able to provide your programs and the services that your recipients have become accustomed to, or that you are looking to offer the community because you see there's a need. Now, I want to give a disclaimer, is that the effective fundraising strategies that I'm going to share with you today, is 5, as I always do. I always like to give 5 strategies. This is not something that you should do when a grant doesn't come in. That's not what I'm talking about. Although you are applying for grants, whether you get them or you don't, this is something that you should be doing regardless, on a consistent basis with your fundraising committee, with your board of directors. You should be doing these effective fundraising strategies on an ongoing basis. And the reason for that is the most impact or negative impact that a nonprofit organization receives or has is during transition. Whether that's, board of directors transitioning, or whether it's, through a grant not coming through and you have no backup, you have no plan B. This is where you will find the most negative impact for a nonprofit organization. And this is where it trickles down to everyone that's involved, where the momentum and the morale can waver. So the 5 strategies that I'm going to provide to you as far as fundraising, this is something that you should be doing ongoing, because if you're doing it ongoing, you have a backup if that grant doesn't come in. If the grant comes in, great, you're in the black, and now you can use that for next year's program, or you can use it to expand, or create an event or something like that. But it allows you, or to be able to hire someone. So this is something you should be doing ongoing. So I wanted to put that out there, because I don't want you to just use these strategies when you find that you're at a low, or when you find that you don't have the funds. That's not when you want to start fundraising. So I wanted to just put that out there. So let's get right into it. Let's get right into the 5 strategies that will help you to be able to sustain your organization. So the first one is, and this is not something new, but there's a twist to what I'm referring to. Hosting online events. And I know since COVID, it's like everything is online. What is so new about this? Putting on an event, a workshop, or a webinar, and you charge a fee for it. Yeah, it's becoming, cliche, and it's not something that, oh, wow, this is something new. However, the twist that I want to refer to is, if you host an event, like for some nonprofit organizations, I've seen a trend now where you're providing podcasts. If you're providing a podcast, offer commercial breaks, offer 5-minute breaks, commercial breaks, 3-minute breaks, and advertise something, so that way you can charge that business to advertise their business on your podcast. So that way it's bringing visibility to their business that's in the community. However, it's helping your organization. So if you're doing this on a weekly basis, that can get pretty lucrative for you. If you're doing this even on a show where you're doing 2 commercials on a show, that might be lucrative if you're doing it on a consistent basis. So that can be consistent money coming in, where now you have a wait list, possibly for businesses wanting to promote their business on your podcast. Also, if you are offering a workshop or a webinar online, right, what you can do is have like silent auctions or raffles. So that way it brings in an additional stream of income during those workshops. So it's not just providing the workshop or the webinar or whatever, but it's also, having silent auctions, and, having like little breaks in between, and sharing what those auctions are. And at the end of it, they can, or throughout, they can, purchase or put in an auction for those different things. So that way, not only did you get the fee for the workshop, but now you got additional fees because there was a raffle, or there was some type of silent auction that was going on during the event. So that is strategy number 1. So yes, while it is something that we see all the time, put a little twist to it to make it more enticing for people to be able to want to give money to your nonprofit. Number 2 is, and this is a big one. This is a huge, huge one. And this is how your St. Jude's, this is how your ASPCA's, nonprofits are able to sustain itself. And that's through monthly donations or recurring donations. A lot of times, especially as grassroots nonprofits, or when you're struggling, you're just so like, look, we need this amount of money to do this, that you're not thinking longevity, that you're not thinking sustainability. This is where it changes the game for you, where if you have individuals that are willing to make a donation, ask them if they're willing to become a friend of the organization, to be able then to give monthly recurring donations. So that can be, even if it's $25 a month, or if it's $20 a month, you times that by 12, that's a nice number, right? Even if it was $10, a month, that's what, $120? Now imagine if you had 10 times $120. That's, even more. That's what, $1,200 for your organization. Imagine if you double that by 10, and another 10, and another 5. So if you're building relationships with individuals, sharing information is all about, you can really be able to, enhance what it is doing, keep your programs and services sustainable through those recurring donations, because it's recurring. So you might be saying, well, we're grassroots, but, not a lot of people know us, or where are we going to get, that many people continuously giving us money, like the St. Jude's and the ASPCA's? Well, this is where you got to turn to your board. This is where you got to turn to your board. You got to turn to your board and you got to ask them. You know, if you have 5 people sitting on your board and they know 10 people and they don't know 10 people, that's 50 people now. That's 50 people plus whoever you know. That's maybe 60 people. Now you have 60 people that you're asking $10, $25, $50 a month, right? Or if you know a business, or if you are banking with a particular bank, you can ask. They have employees, so you ask for those type of relationships, that type of recurring donations, where now it's coming right out of their paycheck. These employees, it's coming out of their paycheck, plus your individuals, your friends, your family, that's giving on a recurring basis. And that's why it's so important to have a board, because now you're not just working a one-man show, one-woman show, which is not allowed. But if you're doing that, now they can maximize on really supporting the organization, because now everybody has 10 people I got to ask, 10 people I have to ask. So now it's a goal that if you have just 5 on your board, now that's 50 people that now you have donating to your nonprofit organization on a consistent basis. So even if it's small, it's what I say, small act with a big impact. So now you have this large platform of individuals giving you money, even though it's a small amount. It's giving you money on a consistent basis. So that's money you can count on, that you can either hire part-time work, you can put on a consistent program, provide a consistent service to the community. This is where recurring donations can really make a huge impact for your nonprofit organization. So have that. Strategy number 3 is, I took this from when I was growing up. Jerry Lewis, who was a very famous comedian. He was the original actor who did The Nutty Professor. He was an amazing comedian, but in his older age, he had a passion for muscular dystrophy. This was a disease that was, and it's still a disease out there, that was taking people and just, changing their lives drastically and negatively. It's a neurological, like a muscle disease, where you can't, you end up in a wheelchair. You end up not being able to walk. You have to have someone take care of you. And he used to do these annual telethons. I think it was Labor Day weekend. He would do these 3-day telethons where he would, online, and he would have the people on stage taking calls. You could hear the calls in the background and everything like that. And throughout the entire week, all he was doing was showing the damage that muscular dystrophy does to families, not only for the person itself, but how it impacts the family, how it impacts them financially, the cost of these different wheelchairs and doctor appointments and things like that. And he used to do these annual telethons where he's telling them the success stories of, being able to get the medical procedures that they couldn't afford, but for the fact that they were getting the donations. This was every single year. And I used to sit there and watch. Sometimes I would cry, because I'm an empath for sure. And I would cry and I would want to give money, but I was like 10, 11 years old. And I remember just like, wow. And the money that they used to raise each and every year was in the millions, right? And he did this for many years. Now, obviously, if you're a small nonprofit, you can't do that like on a television show, whatever. However, they call it now what's called crowdfunding. That's what they call it now. So you could do something, because now you have social media as a platform. Some of you have your podcast as a platform, right? You could use those online platforms to be able to create a campaign, a telethon, sharing live stories where you have people coming on, the show, and sharing what those, pre-recorded, and sharing it with, your colleagues and your friends. Or you can do an event where it's, people are coming and watching, what's happening. And in the background, people are sitting at tables, your volunteers willing to take donations. And you can do it online, have testimonials, have, where, your board members are coming on, your volunteers are coming on, you as the founder or your executive director coming on and saying, after a live, testimonial, or after a recorded testimonial, of the problem that's happening in your community that you're looking to serve, and how your organization is helping, and how those donations is going to help sustain what it is that you're doing for this community. Now, one of your board of directors, volunteers, or yourself can come on and actually have that call to action, asking, for people to donate. So that way now you're reaching not only, the individuals that but now you're reaching followers that some of us don't even know, but they follow us, they like our content, things like that. Now you're able to ask them to really support you on something. And you can do this on a quarterly basis. You could do this like Jerry Lewis did, on an annual basis, where you're looking and then you're promoting this event coming up, so people know that this campaign is coming up, so that way they can share, have experts come on and talk about the impact if this doesn't happen, if you're not able to sustain your program, what's going to happen to the community, what are the statistics of what can happen, and why the donations are so important. This is what you want to do on a campaign, because this allows you to be able to reach on a much grander level, to be able to ask for the donations that you need. So that's strategy number 3. Strategy number 4, I like this one. Strategy number 4, this is something that kind of came to me, and I think it's very beneficial. Every grassroots nonprofit, or any nonprofit for that matter, knows other nonprofit organizations. It's just, that's how it goes. It's like a village. Everybody's campaigning for something else, championing for some different cause. But a nonprofit, you become like this big nonprofit family where each of you are working towards helping the community. They're going through the same thing, struggling with the same things that you are, for different causes. One of them being fundraising, or how to write grants, especially for grassroots. What you can do is employ someone such as myself, a nonprofit strategist or a certified grant writer, to be able to come and actually host an event, a grant writing workshop, where your organization is hosting it, not only for your organization, but you're hosting it for other nonprofit organizations, and they pay a fee. They get you charge them to come to this workshop or whatever, and as they're attending, they're benefiting from it, but the proceeds of it, so working with a nonprofit strategist that's willing to work with you to say, look, this is to give you money, right? The proceeds then go towards raising money for your nonprofit organization. So it's a win-win for everyone. Your nonprofit, the nonprofit strategist gets to, bring visibility to the work that they're doing to other nonprofit organizations, that this is what I do, and they can employ that nonprofit strategist for additional work. So it's a win for that person, even though not for the particular workshop, but it's a win for that person. And then those other organizations are winning, because now they're getting vital information to keep their organizations going and being able to raise money. So have grant writing workshops where you invite other nonprofit organizations to be able to attend for a fee, and those fees go towards raising money for your organization. So number 5 is something that a lot of nonprofits do. So this is not something new that's going on, but this can be very beneficial, which is hosting a donor appreciation like luncheon. Um, you know, but it's specific to past donors, only to past donors. And I would suggest inviting those donors and having them have a +1. Having them have a +1, that could be their spouse, that could be a colleague or something like that, but have each of them, invite them to have a +1. This is where you're able to share what their money has done for your nonprofit organization thus far, the events, the people that it's impacted. Have some of the recipients come in and share, what your organization has done for them, and then share your future plans, future workshops that you need additional funding for. Not necessarily asking them for money, but just putting it out there that this is what our future plans are as far as expansion, because we see what has already been done and the impact. And so this is what we're looking to do. And then you can put it out there that if you would like to donate, or if you would like to contribute to the expansion of what we're looking to do, we'd love for you to help. But you're appreciating them. It's no obligation for them to attend. Now, this is where that +1 helps, because even if it's a spouse, if that spouse is now hearing like, wow, this is who we're donating, I didn't really know much about the organization. Let me talk to my boss. Let me talk to my neighbor. Let me talk to my family member that has money. Let me start donating too. So now it's becoming a family thing, or if it's a colleague, now you have an additional person that you're bringing in awareness to, and you don't know where that awareness is going to lead as far as who they know or what they have. And now this reinforces the commitment that the existing donors already have, but now it's leading to increased donations, because they may give more because they have a better understanding of what your organization is doing and where it's going. And you may have some new donors that are coming in to be able to assist because they see what you've done and what you're planning to do, and then now they want to contribute as well. So those, donor appreciation luncheons can be very, very impactful. It doesn't have to be this humongous spread, but just something nice for your organization to be able to do for its donors to increase. So in every business, you have to invest. You have to invest in order to, receive something. So those type of things, you may have to put out a little bit in order to receive more. But those are the 5 strategies that I have for you this morning, to be able to kind of look and see what can we do on a consistent basis from the 5 strategies that we provided that should be part of your fundraising strategy in order to keep your organization sustainable, even if the grants are not coming in on a consistent basis. So it's extremely important, as I mentioned on the onset of this video, these strategies that I just provided to you should not be something that you do only when a grant is not, given. Now we're playing catch up. This is something that you should be doing on an ongoing basis to keep your organization sustainable, so that even if that grant doesn't come in, you have it. And just a tip for you to know, grant funders love to see that you are not just relying on their grant in order to keep your program sustainable. They love to see that you're able to, you have other funding sources, even if their grant is not provided. And that bolsters and strengthens your credibility with the grant committee that is reviewing it, because they're like, this is a sustainable organization. Let's take a deeper look. Because I'll say it and I'll say it again. Grant funders do not like to be the all and be all for an organization. They like to contribute to something that is already successful. That's what grant committees like to do. Grant funders like to give money to organizations that are already successful. Their money just sustains what is already successful or expands what is already successful. And that's the goal. They're not here to give you seed money to get started. They like to contribute to programs that have already shown it has been proven through the results that this is a successful program, that this is a successful service that's being provided to the community, because these are the results. This is the impact that it's made. They want to be able to do that. So if you already have funding sources and they're like, well, this is already going, our money is just going to contribute to expanding or continuing the program, that's what they want to give. So keep that in mind, that if you don't have a backup plan, because a lot of times in the grant applications, they'll ask you, what is the project budget? How much money do you already have towards the budget? So if you put 0, that doesn't go well. That doesn't go well. So if you're utilizing any one of these 5 strategies, this is an opportunity for you to be able to shine, to show those grant committees that we're not just relying on your money. We've raised money already. We're looking for you to sustain or to keep the program going, so that way we can keep doing this over and over again. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. Take a look, reflect, share with your board. If you know someone who's on the, who runs a nonprofit that's struggling, share this video with them. So the first thing I would like for you to do is, if you found this content beneficial, hit that like button, because it grows the algorithm of the videos, so that when people are looking for, content, it's going to booster up this video. And 2, share this video. As I mentioned before, if you know a nonprofit individual, whether it's a founder, an executive director, or even a friend of yours that's a board of director, or if even you yourself is working with a nonprofit and you see that it's struggling, share it with the founder, share it with the executive director, so that way they can maybe get some tips, and then you can utilize some of these strategies within the organization, or your colleague can look at this and see what strategies can work with them that can really be a game changer for the organization, continuously running and being able to support and champion the cause of that community that they're looking to serve. So that's what I wanted to share with you. I hope that this was beneficial to you. Please leave a comment if it is, maybe what strategy resonated with you the most, so that way I can see that you're truly benefiting from the content that I'm sharing. So be impactful today. Make this an amazing week for yourself. Make it an amazing week for your nonprofit organization, whether doing something small or not, but just being able to be an impact to someone just by saying something nice or even giving a smile. So make it a great day for yourself. Make it a great day for, great week for your organization. And I will see you all next week for new nonprofit content.